Fairy tales can come true. It can happen to you if you're young at heart. For it's hard you will find to be narrow of mind if you're young at heart. You can go to extremes with impossible schemes. You can laugh when your dreams fall apart at the seams, and life becomes exciting with each passing day. And love is either in your heart or on its way. Don't you know that it's worth every treasure on earth to be young at heart? For as rich as you are, it's much better by far to be young at heart. And if you should survive to 105, look at all you'll derive just by being alive. Now here is the best part, you have a head start if you are amongst the very young at heart. And if you should survive to 105, look at all you'll derive just by being alive. Now here is the best part. You have a head start if you are a...
My fondest memories of Grandpa Frank mainly revolve around how he used to promote fun and sense of adventure for me and my brothers when we visited. Whether it be being towed behind a lawnmower along the property, riding in the homemade go-kart he built along the property, or taking the zip line down from the treehouse he built for all his grandkids, Frank was always in support of our next adventure. This created a wonderful environment to visit at Grandma and Grandpa's house, and I really think those memories help foster my own sense of adventure in life. After all, life is meant to be enjoyed, and I think Frank really knew that best. He was always really positive, and that had a huge positive effect on those around him. I cherish our memories together, and I intend to keep that sense of adventure and positivity alive in my own life in his honor. I'm proud and grateful to have called him my granddad.
So one sort of brief and beautiful moment that comes to mind for me when I think about my Grandpa Frank happened a couple years ago around the Thanksgiving table, in which he was recounting the story of one of his first dates with my grandmother, Cecilia, at the Tulsa football game. And he said that it was a cold night and she didn't have gloves, and so he put her hand in his pocket, and he said, as soon as I put that hand in my pocket, I knew that it belonged there for life. And as he said it, a tear rolled down his face, and I was immediately struck by the enduring power of love that all these years later, my grandfather could be moved to tears by the memory of the warmth of his lover's hand, and his ability to express that sort of vulnerability in front of his family was something that was so uniquely special about my Grandpa Frank. And it taught me a lot about how to be a man and to love openly and deeply and expressively. So that was a beautiful moment with my grandfather.
I always enjoyed working on the ever-expanding brush pile on Grandpa Frank's property in Valley Falls. I remember one visit, he gave me a pair of tree branch cutters, and he told me to start cutting some trees so we can, of course, add more to this brush pile. And I remember trying to cut a branch that I definitely shouldn't have been trying to cut with simple tree branch loppers. And I pushed these cutters to the limit, and I ended up bending one of the handles in half. And I remember in that moment feeling anxious, because in my household, if you broke a tool, that's something someone could get upset at. And I remember bringing it to him in his shop and showing him the tool and apologizing for breaking it. And he laughed for 3 minutes straight because he thought it was absurd that I could break this tool trying to cut tree branches. And that's something that Grandpa Frank instilled in me he made me feel okay for being clumsy or forgetful or, sometimes unattentive. And it was because he was like that as well. And so I always took a great deal of comfort in that. And I really love and appreciate that.
Hi, Grandpa. It's me, Shauna. Your oldest grandchild. Known you for 45 years. I have a lot to say. Too little time, but I talk to you all the time. In my heart, you're there, and I have a pretty bad memory, but for some reason, all of my best memories include you and Grandma, and the time we spent together throughout my life. One of my best memories that became a tradition and something we did every time I came to visit was we would drive to St. Joe in Missouri, and we would go to the miniature golf park and then play around and putt-putt. And then we would go to a matinee of my choice, whatever movie I wanted to see, and then we would go to the Golden Corral for dinner, and I would just be in heaven, as I never got to eat like that. And then we would go back to the miniature golf place, and that would be your idea. You would say, I think maybe we should go back and play one more time. Oceans of fun, the whole entire day, going down every single slide. The highest slide I wouldn't even do, you would do. And seeing a sign for tubing on the side of the road and pulling over, immediately buying us tickets and going down a giant hillside on an inner tube when you're probably in your 70s or I don't know. Making everything an adventure. You used to say everything's an adventure, and never telling me no, never telling me I couldn't do something, and always believing in me and making me feel like I was the most special person in this world. Your legacy is to be that patient and kind, loving mother to my daughter, Margot, your great-granddaughter, and that's how I plan to carry on your memory and all the memories I have of you. And every time I'm outside, I'm around animals or nature or walking down my gravel road, and I'll think of you. And I love you more than anything.